So luck, I think, is one of the biggest factors in deciding the success of anything. Now, before we continue, I think we need to come up with a definition for what luck actually means. And in my mind, luck is essentially all the variables in life that you don't have a personal direct control over. Basically, the people you walk by on the street, the weather that you experience, the people that see the things you post on social media. And what I mean by that is if you're putting tags on your content, you don't know what kind of people are going to see that come down on their feed. And as I'm sure you can understand, luck is a huge factor on YouTube. We as creators don't have direct control over the algorithm. We can influence it by the content we put on, but at the end of the day, we have no idea how many times the videos are going to be recommended. We have no idea who's actually going to click on them and watch them. These are what I consider luck factors. I think people make the mistake sometimes of thinking that they are solely responsible for all of their success, which is clearly not true, especially if your success is based on technology, which has been designed and made over generations by other people. If your entire business revolves around the internet, then you should be grateful that all the time and effort has been put into building this infrastructure that has enabled you to share your work and have other people view it. It's also very easy to slip into a mentality where you feel like you deserve something just because luck has provided it to you beforehand. And again, in the context of YouTube, and I can use this context because it's my lifestyle, I see this a lot with other creators as well, where they'll get like 100,000 views on a video because luck has determined that the algorithm wants to recommend that to everyone. And then they'll make something else and then it won't get anywhere near as much. And they'll go, oh, well, why isn't it getting this much? Like, I feel like I've done the same kind of content before. And you can see the kind of kindling of a deserving mentality going on. I deserve more views because I've made the same kind of content. And that's not how it works. You have not designed the system and you are not solely responsible for how it's distributed to people. Your key element is the content that you create. People will spend so much time trying to manipulate the elements of luck. And what's tantalizing about it is you can, to a certain degree, we can modify the variables that influence our lifestyle, but we can never have complete control over them. And that's something that people need to come to terms with. And it's something that people struggle with a lot on social media, always trying to maximize the amount of likes they get, always putting in just a ridiculous number of tags to try and get their content in front of as many people as possible. I think it's a futile effort to a certain degree. I think there's only so much you can do before you need to rescind control and just focus on what you want to make. But the funny thing about this is that even though we can talk about this in the context of the modern day internet, this is a story that goes back generations to the beginning of human history. And even in mythology, there's always stories of people always trying to bargain with luck and fate. And spinning that into a personal perspective, I think it's probably detrimental in terms of mental health to always try to fight these uncontrollable variables in your life. If you are a content creator or you're looking to become one, then what I recommend to you is to not obsess over the numbers game, the evidence of these variables playing into effect. Have a keen eye and look out for the emotional value. Don't look for numbers, look for people. Don't look for money, look for emotional impact. But these are just random thoughts coming out of my mind, and at the end of the day, everyone can feel about life and luck and fate however they like. Now, when I say the word fate, I'm not a particularly spiritual person, I'm not a particularly religious person, but I do believe the universe is deterministic in a certain way, because the physical laws are constant to a certain degree. Things that were going to happen will always happen. But this is not the video to talk about determinism, because we'll end up talking about the many worlds theory. But one point that I am trying to get across is that the desire to have absolute control over all the uncontrollable variables is, to me, often a sign of insecurity. It's a sign that we're afraid that we won't be able to carry ourselves through life, that we need to rely on external factors, that the content we make isn't good enough, or our skill level or our knowledge isn't good enough to succeed, and that we require the universe to bend in our favor for us to do well, and that if we can't have this, then we're an absolute failure and that we will go nowhere. Now, I think that's something that absolutely everyone can resonate with in some way, because it really ties into the core of human nature and survival, I suppose. But it's definitely not a healthy mentality to fuel the fires of, especially not in a social media space and the internet space. So that's my message for today, and something I just want people to think about. Try and give up some of the obsessive control over all the factors of life that you don't have control over. Now, that's not to say go completely freeform in your life and just let things go. It's good to have some kind of semblance of a plan and a direction in life. But what I am saying is if you try to control everything, and if you get into the mentality that you deserve the universe to bend in your favor, then it's definitely not a healthy space to be in the long run. Feel free to continue this discussion down in the comments. I'm sure that there'll be lots of opinions about this. But for now, thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.